Nightmare kills Nicola when there are no more supporters for Scottish independence. The First Minister has insisted that she will use the UK general election next year as a referendum on Scotland's de facto independence.
Nicola Sturgeon has been dealt a heavy blow after a new poll suggested in favour of Scottish independence and the SNP in general fell sharply. The latest poll of 2,100 Scots from Lord Ashcroft for Holyrood magazine shows the country will vote 56% to 44% in favour of remaining in the UK. That closely resembles the failed Scottish independence referendum from 2014, when Scots voted by 55% to 45% against separating from Britain. Ms. Sturgeon seemed to be paralysed by the strong blow of the Scottish people, when they no longer wanted to support the independence of this country. The people of Scotland were frustrated when they had to pursue a dream that did not come true.
They are abandoning their plans after the UK's highest court rejected last year's Scottish independence referendum.
The latest poll shows little support for that, with only a fifth, 21%, of Scots agreeing with it.
A huge two-thirds, 67%, said the First Minister cannot claim that voting for the SNP and Greens is voting for Scottish independence.
Just 1 in 5 poll respondents believe living standards will rise in an independent Scotland, while more than half, 57%, think food prices will rise. Nearly two-thirds, 64%, think taxes will rise and 41% believe unemployment will rise, and furthermore, 62% of voters predict an independent Scotland will need to make drastic cuts in public spending. Most Scots have understood that they will not be able to separate from the UK. If they do, this means they are smashing their own rice bowls. The survey also shows Scotland's ruling government is falling short of what voters really want, as keeping Scotland in the UK has emerged as a bigger priority for them than separating Scotland from the rest of the UK. The NHS, the cost of living crisis and the economy are voters' top 3 priorities, but they believe nationalists are focused on Sexit and gender reform, with just 22% saying they think the NHS is a priority for the Scottish government. On the other hand, half of Scots think the UK government was right to block Ms. Sturgeon's gender reform law, compared with just a third, 33%, who did not. Pamela Nash, Scotland's chief executive officer in the union, said, "This poll shows that Scots do not want to leave the UK and they are strongly opposed to Nicola Sturgeon's tactics in doing so." Mrs. Nicola is suffering a pain when her independence plan is subject to a great deal of opposition from the Scottish people, not the British government.